Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever it is you are in the world, and welcome to another edition of the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York. We find ourselves within the Sept of the Green, just after sundown, well within the Umbrascape of the near Umbra, in what is commonly known as the North Woods, an area of the Sept where kinfolk and Garou alike can train and hone their skills without worry of being interfered with by mortals or any other creature. The spirits of war are usually found in this area. And all in all, it's a area where interesting things happen, suffice it to say. We start with Kelly Krakos, the new Black Fury, calling the Sept of the Green home, standing in front of a tree with a large sort of straw-made target hanging from it, and various red areas on it painted that are littered with arrows. And the Black Fury stands a fair distance away with a bow in hand and a quiver of arrows at her feet. As she picks one up and notches it and pulls the drawstring back and lets the arrow fly, and finding it missing its mark by 3 inches or so, and sort of frowns as she sighs and slings the bow over her shoulder and starts to walk towards the target.
As she's walking, do you want to roll perception alertness?
Actually, no. She's going to be fairly engrossed in what she's doing, so she's not really paying. She's kind of intentionally being tunnel visioned at the moment.
Yeah. Seeing someone who he's never seen before, Ben has been in the woods, stalking about, hiding from spirits, trying to get as close as he can to them before they see him. Just practicing sneaking. When he sees someone who's not seen before, he recognizes the smell as a Garou, and yeah, sneaks up, gets up, properly hunkered down low. He's in his lupus form, as you can see, um, until he's right next to Callie as she's pulling arrows out of the tree, and she hears a deep growl from next to her.
I'm going to roll for something. Do, 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 do. If I can get 3 successes on this, it'll be pretty awesome. If not, oh well. Oh, hello. The moment that a growl emits from near where she's standing, the bow is notched quickly, and a arrow is loosed almost in an instant, and pegs the ground just between where the lowered form of her visitor is sort of crouched, and it's right between the shoulder, or right between the arm and upper part of the front leg and the neck, maybe even possibly having grazed, depending on how still he remained. And she quickly pulls a second arrow up, ready to knock it if need be, but she kind of glowers at the stealthy lupus.
I'm going to spend a willpower point and just check that he can do this off the bat. Just check the dice pool. Wow, that's terrible. So you see him kind of concentrating for a bit. The wolf. Nothing seems to happen until a few seconds later. He changes back into a Homid form. Who are you then?
She eyes Ben tentatively and sort of chews on her own teeth, kind of grinding them together. And you can kind of hear a growl in her throat as she has the fletch of the arrow already in place on the drawstring as she takes a few steps back and just looks at him plainly. You have some gall, I'll have to admit. Sneaking up on someone and then demanding answers out of them.
I merely wanted the challenge, and if I was going to kill you, I wouldn't have growled. But I've not seen you before in the Sept.
How very astute, she says as she relaxes her tension on the drawstring or the bowstring. Would you care to make introductions before I give you anything one way or the other?
I am Ben Philodox Homid of the Wendigo tribe.
She'll sort of snort halfway through her nose. Callie, full moon of the Black Furies.
Ben does stiffen when she snorts. And what's entertaining?
She doesn't really respond to that. She just continues to sort of square off with him.
How long have you been here?
A few days. Not long.
And where do you come from, may I ask?
The right side of her face curls up into a smirk as she stares him directly in the eye and adopts a more wolf-like demeanor as she directly challenges him with just body language. She doesn't say anything, she doesn't respond to his question, but begins to test the waters as she begins to act more wolf-like, and in doing so, that direct stare is more telling than any words they could possibly exchange at that point.
Which Ben meets with his usual cold gaze. You going to answer?
Why should I? I don't even know you.
True enough, but I say you are new to the set. You haven't. I have answered your question. You have more? Go ahead.
She stands a little bit more erect at this point and takes the bow and sets it down, arrow included, and takes a few steps towards him, very deliberate in nature. And as she does so, she cants her head to one side and raises a brow. What rank are you?
I am a cub. And yourself?
Her demeanor completely relaxes. Oh. Well then. Where I come from is sort of irrelevant, wouldn't you say? I'm here.
I say I ask for my own curiosity. I am not a gatekeeper. I am not the warden. I am not guarding the sept. I am
Not even a full wolf in the eyes of the nation.
quite. You are correct. You do not have to answer my questions.
She mulls it over. I come from the west. The Rockies.
And what brings you to New York?
My father.
Father, is he one of the... Well, if he's obviously he won't be a Black Fury, but is he a Garrow of the Sept or kinfolk here?
She inclines her head again. Just because he's a male doesn't mean he's not part of the tribe.
I heard that you were universally female.
You heard wrong.
Clearly.
There are males within our ranks. Kin, mostly. However, Pegasus still smiles and encourages us to retain our Metis children.
And Ben, does one of the close things he ever really does to smiling, but I'm assuming that that's not your father isn't a Metis.
Well, that would be the big story of the past 1,000 years now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think I'd have heard of you before coming across you in the forest.
No, my father is a doctor here.
Yeah, I've heard there's a doctor among the more prominent kinfolk. I'm not more familiar with the kinfolk personally.
It's to your detriment.
I have my kinfolk. They're cared for.
They've done a pretty lousy job of educating you, Cub. There's purpose when she says that to her voice.
And what do you mean to imply by that?
Well, it's no secret that the Furies keep their own, at least when it comes to our metas. They aren't half as treated as poorly as some other tribes.
Well, so I have my kinfolk who are not particularly familiar with the ways of the Wendigo as they would just
They don't
kinfolk.
seem to be much familiar with anything. And again, there's that deliberate purpose in her tone.
And if you would educate me, feel free. I'm a cub, I am here to learn.
She takes a few steps towards Ben until she's almost shoulder to shoulder with him. More than likely looking up at him, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And she just starts to circle him. To teach someone like you, poorly educated, not surprising. I've had a few run in with your kind. Those that were competent warriors were some of the most impressive ones I've seen. Never saw much from their half moons, though. Maybe they were all of different auspices. I couldn't really tell. I hear your tribe has a tenacity unlike any other and has a propensity for savageness.
We do what has to be done. We're we don't trust Wormbringers to do some things.
She'll move with sort of an exaggerated, steepled finger touch to her chest as she kind of pulls her head back slightly and puts on a theatrical look of surprise. Are you implying that my tribe had some hand in the manifest destiny that many of the Europeans brought forth?
You are not pure tribe. You are here. Do you have cairns in this land?
We certainly do. But I can tell you that none of my mothers or grandmothers or aunts had any part in acquiring them, if that's
So,
what you're trying to imply.
where did they come from?
The Springwater Sept, as far as I know, was reclaimed from the hands of the worm.
Is that the only Black Fury sect in the American?
No, but I can't speak as to the origins of each of them. But if you want to go generalizing, as your lot seem to do, I suppose if you want to blame everybody for the loss of your cairns, go right ahead. I'm sure we're all the same in your eyes, aren't we?
Well, it is my job to keep the litany.
Too bad it wasn't your job at being better at defending your cairns.
Um,
I know. Go for it.
yeah. Is there a moon chart somewhere? that maybe
How much rage do you have, son?
5. Yeah. There's a reason he's been called a mini Arun.
So I think you're still safe at the moment. Or I'm safe, depending on how you want to look at it.
Yeah.
But I bet those words a bit deep.
They really, really did. Well, it is a problem when, even like you say, some of the best fighters, when you're outnumbered 10 to 2, and those 10 have unleashed one of the largest banes I've ever seen.
I'm gonna have to roll intelligence, I think. Intelligence Garu lore on this one, because I don't want to imply that she knows anything about the Eater of
Yeah.
Souls outright.
It's not the Eater of Souls that's referring to, yeah. He's been told about the Storm Eater.
I thought it was the Eater of Souls that took the Croatan.
Eater of Souls Croatan.
Yeah, you're talking about the or the Wild West.
Yeah, the Storm Eater was unleashed because the Europeans didn't form the proper rights.
2 successes, so yeah. Generalizing. Again. You know, you like to throw some accusations around there, Half Moon. Do you have the sand? And she kind of gestures again, theatrically with her hand, to back that up.
What? Back up that I didn't accuse you there of anything, Paleface.
I'm gonna roll something. Yeah, okay, so that didn't cut all that deep for her. She just kind of gives him a look like, really? That's the best you got?
I would merely point out that it was the Wormbringers that resulted in unleashing a bane and attacked our kin.
And if I were red-haired or descendant from Vikings or an inbred Russian or perhaps some Slovenian here skulking around in the dark, you'd have me there. As I recall, the Furies had very little to do with the fall of your people, or at least the decline of your people.
So you're saying that your great nobility was, at best, apathy?
We had our duties to attend to.
Have.
You know, your tragedy isn't some tale like that of the Howlers. You know that, right? You can't simply rest yourself on eons, hundreds of years of resentment over something that didn't wipe you out. And she sort of does look a little bit sour and salty when she looks at him. Subterfuge not her strong suit, so she's kind of wearing it all on her sleeve. At least with the Howlers, and to a lesser extent now the Spirals, everybody dropped the ball on that one.
I'm going to make a Intelligence, Garulor. On that?
I'd say that's just as easily a 6 as the Croatan thing.
Yeah.
If you fail, it's story time. Yay!
Well, yes. The 10 tribes of Europe did fail there.
Oh, so you're implying that the 3 tribes of the Americas had no means to interact with us.
If I recall, no, not at that point.
Still. And she looks at Ben with purpose. How long are you going to hang on to a hate that's, from everything I can see, killing off your people?
I don't think it's the hate that's killing them off. I think it's the continuous killing of them off. The continuous killing of my people.
So are you saying that the Get and the Silverfangs and the Fianna and Shadow Lords are still conspiring to wipe you out even now?
Maybe not consciously, but I can't help but note that the Silverfangs and the Shadow Lords sit in their houses built on our land. And we, my people, Wendigo and our kin, live in some of the most horrific places in the country.
I've
My
seen.
point is simple, that it's not in the past.
The transgressions are in the past. The actual acts themselves, the repercussions may still be lasting.
Indeed,
But there are tribes out there that are trying to aid your people, and it doesn't seem to be doing any bit of good to change your tune.
I have met a couple of individuals who seem well intentioned towards my people, but not many. Most simply turn a blind eye before going home to their comfy houses, kept by their wealthy kinfolk.
You know, I would be inclined to be sympathetic, but it seems that anytime anyone does try and do anything to help you and yours out, it's always met with resentment, even though you do accept the help that's offered. Begrudgingly, though.
If you help me and my kind, I am a half moon. Judge you accordingly. Until then, I will judge you accordingly.
So, by first glance, no matter what I've done, what good I've done for Gaia, I'm still a worm comer, according to you.
Yes. Do not violate the territory of another.
And she nods, sort of like, as if nodding in agreement. And let's roll some initiative. 6 plus 8 is 14.
7 plus 6 is 13.
Just below me. Do you want to declare first, or you just want to do this in order?
I if you're cool, because obviously you're the one who benefits higher initiative, I say just go in order. I must say the fight of Declaration will just slows down and confuses combat.
Yeah, it does slow it down considerably. She's gonna spend a rage to shift up into Galabro. You'll notice that she does grow by a foot or two at most, but she doesn't lose any of her. Well, if she had appeal to Ben, she doesn't lose any of that. She has fair Galabro, which I don't know why I didn't put on the bar.
Yeah.
But she is gonna. She's not gonna claw you because that would be unsavory if she's trying to impart something. So she's gonna just straight up punch you.
Okay.
She's gonna ball those fists up into little the battering rams they can be if the dice gods are in my favor, and they seem to be okay with me today. We'll see where that goes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's strength plus 3. Two bashing. So she just punches you in the face.
I'm assuming, yeah, it's just a general punch, not necessarily a punch in the face, not a cold shot.
Well, yeah, just not a cold shot, just a punch. I always just say punch in the face.
It's better that way.
It sounds better.
And Ben is also going to spend a rage. And well, he yeah, he'll just go to Galabro.
I was about to say, this is going to escalate pretty quick if you go where I think you're going.
Let's be friendly. I want to use my history picture. And he will... Actually, he'll try and... trying to remember what it's called. Where you size someone's legs out from underneath them. If that's maneuvering. Well,
Sweep.
Sweep.
Yeah, I think it's like a +1 or +2 difficulty.
Right. Cool. Okay.
Ouch, that hurt.
And Galabro 4.
Rights, fetishes, gifts.
Shape changing. Right, 4.
Close combat.
Galabro. So if it's +1, that's 1 success. If not, that's no successes.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for a sweep here at the moment. There it is. It's difficulty 8, actually.
Okay. So they'll be make contact with absolutely no impact, really.
Just gonna look at him oddly, like, oh, okay, and she's gonna spend 2 rage points. And as she starts circling him, she's going to start, as she passes by trees and whatnot, she runs her claws over them. And then it's your normal turn.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to go for, Ben's going to go for a tackle. Catch, she runs as she runs, goes through the trees.
She's not really running. She's just kind of like circling, and as she passes like through them, she's doing that number.
That's 2 successes and
Tackle is actually different. Yeah, it is difficulty 7. Sorry.
7. And your difficulty is now, therefore, 8 to resist.
Yep. So it's Dex plus Athletics roll.
Dex roll.
Each combatant must make a successful Dex plus Athletics roll, or else wind up sprawled on the ground afterwards.
Okay, so actually, yeah. Sorry, so I've succeeded Aaron.
Yeah.
Dex Athletics.
I pulled up my cheat sheet. After the last couple of fights I've had, I'm just like, yeah. I managed 1 success to stay up.
I do not.
I think you botch.
No, my difficulty is 6 to stay up.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Botches. So I have actually hit you with the tackle and kind of bounce off hilariously, embarrassingly.
But you do damage, so go ahead and roll that.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch, maybe you do like 8 point or 8. You'll like roll enough to 2E in 1 hit,
2.
or not. Yeah. There's a reason you bounced off, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And now we are on to rage actions.
Yep.
She is going to claw you. At difficulty 5.
Yeah, because I'm on the ground. No, it'll be 4 because I'm on the ground.
Oh. Luckily, it's only lethal. I have to do 14 points of lethal to end you. So I won't spend a willpower on this. Hey, but you're doing... I get 1, 2 successes. I do have a specialty.
Cool.
So, so that's strength plus 3 plus 1, so that's strength plus 4.
This is gonna hurt.
Probably not after that roll. Yeah, see, like I said, it does nothing to you.
She like tickles him.
It's like you think she comes at you when you're like laying on your back. You can definitely feel that the claws are definitely on the mark to hit you, but they kind of scratch your back gently. She's going to spend another rage for this upcoming action because we're back at the top of the order. And she'll attack you 1 more time while you're on the ground before you have a chance to stand up.
Okay. And I'll spend rage as well.
Or let me just take a real quick look at something. No, I'm not going to do that. That's dirty. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is strength plus 3 plus another 3. So strength plus 6. Hopefully the laws of probability will be on my side on this one. A little bit better, but not by much.
So that's 2 successes, yeah?
1, 2, 3 successes.
Cool.
Because it doesn't lower the difficulty of damage, luckily.
Ooh, 3 points of damage.
So yeah, she scratches the shit out of your back, and she sort of is now kind of standing behind you, but you have your free maneuver to get up. So yeah, as she's kind of like bounding over you, she rakes her claws across your back, just like a crisscross pattern, and they bite in well enough to cause some serious damage as she kind of comes into lower crouch, her knees bent and her arms out at her side, claws kind of curled.
Yeah. So yeah, Ben with his action just stands up.
I think standing up is a free action.
It was a free action.
I think so. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be.
Okay.
Let me just really read tackle. Tackle. That's a status effect, I think. So it's knocked down. Let me just see if that's right up here. It kind of figures that I wouldn't have that up and ready to go. Knocked down. A character has been knocked down, must take an action to scramble back up. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, back on my feet.
Rage actions.
Yep.
The claw coming at you.
Mm-hmm.
As you stand back up, she is gonna sink those claws into you for a second time. And manages to get one success. I'm really glad I took that specialty. So it's just strength plus 3.
Yeah.
And it literally, gently scratches you on the chest.
Right. I am just checking common sense. Yeah.
Could have sort of just heard you say checking common sense.
Yeah.
Ah.
And I don't need to roll for it to work. So Ben will step back, raise his arms, and snarl through deeply gritted teeth whilst making a stamina roll, which he fails. Do you have a point?
She looks at him. Just wanted to see how deep that rage went in you. She kind of licks her teeth slightly. Not as deep as I'd hoped.
What can I say? I've been told that restraint is what's important here. Apparently.
So do you really think that every person that's even remotely Caucasian is complicit in the oppression and pillaging of your people even in this era?
I don't think all of them are. I think 99% of them are at best apathetic enablers.
Well, the next time you're thinking about throwing accusations someone's way, why don't you do your due diligence in researching? Look at the work that many charitable groups do to try and help your people. Fury is among them. The actions of forebears might have put up a government and a system of power that systematically keeps your people down. Very few of them in this day and age still hold true to that or don't regret it in some way and wish to see it brought down.
If you genuinely want to bring this Weaver Bread system down that was, let's say, enabled by your kin, not Black Fury kin, but European kin, you are genuinely the first one I've met, ever.
I'd like to see change and equality.
He doesn't say that in any way. He very much says it like he doesn't believe what you're saying.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a sort of bitter edge to his voice there. Like,
so you just find
a unicorn.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
This horse is insisting it's a unicorn that's lost its horn. Is kind of the thought process there.
Okay, well, I can't read your thoughts.
Yeah, no, obviously. But it comes across in his voice, because subterfuge is also not Ben's strong point. He's
okay.
obviously fairly upfront with everything he thinks.
You know, if you have something to say, why don't you just say it out loud instead of beating around the bush? Or did I nick something below the belt in that last pass on you?
What I'm saying is, like I said, you may be well-intentioned towards my people. You may fight against the system. You may be one of the people who I've learned are disgustingly few, who don't think we just need to accept the world as it is, accept the system as it is, who actually think it's all gone horribly wrong. So you may not be one of them, but I genuinely say that even amongst my friends and allies here in my pack, who I respect, even they believe that we should accept things as they are. And not continually accepting every failure and insult that we've heaped upon our ancestors.
You've forgotten who you're talking to, what tribe I come from? We haven't ever accepted the status quo.
I suppose that's true enough. That is true enough.
She shifts back down into Hamid, seeing that the contest of arms is moot point. She just kind of snorts. It's pretty typical of your people to alienate would-be allies. You're a cub. You should learn that and try and keep that in mind.
You know, I've been told before that my anger will lead me down a bad road.
That could be true for any of us, Ben. That's not just exclusive to you or your tribe. It just seems to be that your tribe has an abundance of it from everything I've seen and heard.
Well, yes, we all have our little ways. But like I say, I have allies here. Not everyone is beneath my estimation. And the tone of voice there is it's kind of self-like. Smiley.
She just kind of lets out a heavy sigh. I hope for your sake, Ben, that you don't become a stereotype.
I always thought stereotypes started somewhere real.
Well, they certainly do. But your tribe, just like my own, has quite a few enough of them, wouldn't you say?
I'd honestly say we don't have enough of anything. And I'm sure that when you spend some time here in New York, you'll learn that actually probably wish there were more stereotypes of my tribe here.
She'll give a conceding nod. True. But then again, we also have a fair amount of get here, as I hear it.
We do.
And I've seen them in action before. And I'm not truly sure which side in this day and age is more impressive.
And Ben at that point kind of looks down and then kind of looks like past, or just kind of away from Callie. I think we're talking of history before. I think get have numbers on side.
They put their anger to good use. As much as I respect the Wendigo for what they're willing to do in battle, it's only to a point, as I've seen that there seems to be quite a few more that are just content to sit and bitch at everybody about how unfair history has been. And then they get really bent out of shape when I or anyone else brings up that true, things are unfair, but it could be a lot worse. You could be like our fallen brothers and sisters.
Mm. Yes, we are not. We are definitely not like that. And maybe, yes, things could be worse, but not much worse. Let's face facts here. But I agree that it's better to vent rage by doing something, by killing things, worm thing.
She says, sort of with a sort of light-hearted tone, well, if you're going to do that, you're going to have to learn how to throw a punch.
If you, well, my alpha was teaching me earlier, I could. Clearly, I'll need another lesson from him. Maybe another smile. You could go to him and give him some pointers and teaching.
I don't have anything to prove to anybody. But what tribe is your alpha, by the way?
Shadow Lord.
She kind of scoffs. I'll tell you what, if you want to learn how to fight a way more upfront and with a little bit more purpose, come see me. I should offer to help out in this sept in any way I can. And seeing as you're a cub, it might be good to diversify your training a bit so that way you don't have only one teacher and one point of view.
I'll happily take lessons in combat from anyone. Plan on changing mine. You and Ben's kind of been a bit more cheery for a bit, and that kind of drops away now, and his face cold again. They're quite intense. Good luck. Wouldn't be the first one to have tried.
She just nods as she cracks her neck a bit and picks up her bow again. Well, Ben, I'll be here.
And with that, Ben concentrates, shifts back into Lupus, and slinks off and goes back to stalking spirits through the woods.
And I think there we can end our scene.